Today I thought we would have a little fun and do a tutorial. And one of my favorite things to create is to change my savings challenges into envelopes. So in today's video, we are going to do a quick tutorial on how to take your savings tracker and apply an envelope on the back. So it's a twofer. You have your savings challenge and you have an envelope all in one. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, you already know what to do. Kick back and relax. Grab yourself a notepad in this case, and let's get into how to make our savings challenges into envelopes right now. All right, so before we get started, guys, let's talk about a few items you're going to need in order to make your savings challenge tracker into envelopes. First things first, you're going to need your savings challenge that you've created. Now, this video won't discuss how to make a savings challenge, but if you want to go back and watch my video on how to make a savings challenge for free in Canva and also how to make it using the Pro version, go ahead and click the links to those videos in the description box below. We're going to use my Fur Baby Savings Challenge for this. You'll need laminating sheets. So this right here, this is my pack of 3 ml laminating sheets. I'll put on the screen here. I use the Scotch 3 ml laminating sheets. I use this off-brand for my 5 ml because you'll need a 3 ml and a 5 ml. And I use this off-brand from Amazon, and it is such a good quality. And I like it because I get 300 sheets for $30-something, where if I was to buy 100 sheets of 5 ml from Scotch, it would be the same price. I will say you want to use a 3 ml and you want to use a 5 ml when making your envelopes because it makes it sturdier. You probably can get away with using 3 ml if you're making these for yourself, but if you're going to be selling these or starting a business, I would definitely invest in 5 ml laminating sheets. And they also have 7 ml and also 10 ml. So, and the price goes up, of course, but I have noticed when I use this 5 ml, it's much sturdier, it's thicker, and it's just a nice quality. You will need a paper trimmer here. This is the brand that I use, and it's a little dusty. It's a lot dusty. I put this thing to work, people. You will need a paper cutter. Now, I have seen people cut out their savings challenges using a great pair of scissors. If you have the precision to do that, by all means, you don't need to invest in one of these. But again, these are probably like between $6 and $10 on the low end. So you will need a paper cutter, or again, you can use scissors. You will need a laminating machine, and my machine is huge. This is a Fellows laminating machine. This is just a great quality laminator, in my opinion. I invested in this one because I know that I make a lot of savings challenges for sale for my business. So I wanted something that can hold up. It's also good when I create my matte envelopes, so that works well. You want to make sure it has the proper setting. So if you're going to use 5 ml laminating sheets, you want to make sure it has I still have the sticker on this guy. Side note, when I buy stuff, I don't like to take the plastic stickers off. But this is the 5 ml button. If you're going to use 5 ml laminated sheets, you want to make sure you have that option. Again, this is just a nice, sturdy laminator. You can use whatever laminator. Like, again, if you're just starting out practicing, you can use one on the inexpensive side. But if you're going to be producing these for your business, it may be worth it just to invest in a laminator. I paid on sale for this one. I think I paid like $89, and I've had it now for over a year. And it works well, so totally up to you. But you will need a laminator. You will need a hole puncher, and I got this one from Hobby Lobby. I forget how much it was. I bought it probably a couple years ago, but they have these on Amazon too. If you want your envelopes hole punch, you can choose to have them non-hole punch, but if you're going to hole punch them, this is what you need. And then finally, I have a corner rounder. I don't know the name of this tool. I call it a corner rounder thingy. So that is everything that you'll need to get started. So let's go ahead and start cutting out our savings challenge. All right, guys, so we're going to go ahead and cut out our savings challenges, and I've printed 3 to a page here. So what I like to do is I like to leave a tiny border around each savings challenge. That's just my preference. You don't have to do that. So I'm going to stick it into my cutter here, and I'm just going to line it up here so that I can cut just a tiny border around here. Now, you're going to ask, well, what measurements do you use, right? Well, everyone's savings challenges are different. So you just want to kind of eyeball it is what I do. So I'm going to line it up here. You do want to make sure it's straight against your lines here. Use these cutters as a guide. Okay, so I want to make sure it's straight. And then I'm going to close it here. And then notice how my cut is going to be right in between here. So I'm just going to go down here, press down, and now I have my one savings challenge. We'll do it with the rest of them, and then we'll size it up to make sure they're all match. You can always trim. If you leave a lot on there, you can always go back and trim, but you can't take away when you can't replace when it cuts into your savings challenge. Okay, so we're gonna use this one as our guide, and what I like to do is to get an actual dollar bill to size up what it's gonna look like when money is inside my envelope. So what I'm going to do is I'll put this dollar bill right in the center of that challenge. You see that? So I'll put the dollar bill right in the center of that challenge. So I know when I create my envelope, this savings challenge needs to be bigger than that bill so I can have enough room. So what I'll probably do is, I don't want to cut it too perfect to the dollar because you're really not going to have enough space. So I want to cut it so I have a little room in that envelope for money. And, you know, we're going to have more than just one bill. So you want to make sure you have enough space. So I'm going to take my challenge here with my dollar. Don't cut your dollar, people. Don't cut your dollar. Okay, so now I'm going to bring this in here. And this is just how I do it, you guys. But this method works for me. Okay, so we're going to line that up. Now see where this little indenture is? That's where it's going to cut. So what I want to do is I want to make sure I have enough. Watch, that is a blade. I want to make sure I have just enough room for the dollar to have space so I can put, it's just not right on the edge. You guys know what I'm talking about. I'm going to close it down. It's going to cut right here. Okay. Now, this is forming the shape of my envelope. So now when my dollar bill's in there, I know I'll have that much space on this side. Now we're going to turn it around. And I'm going to size this up here. So again, let me bring it over because I want to make sure I have enough space for my money. Okay, so that looks good. So I'm going to cut right there. All right. So now when we make our envelope, now I know this is how much space I'll have in the envelope for my money, and it has plenty of room. So that's the making of the size of your envelope. So what I'm going to do now is take my other savings challenges. I'm going to line it up against this one so that they're all the same size. So what I do is I'll just take this savings challenge. I'll line it up behind here. Okay. And I can see my shape of my savings challenge here. Just wanted to match up. Okay. There we go. All right. So now that I have that sized up, now I'm just going to go through here and I'm going to cut along the shape of the savings challenge so that they're the same. Okay. Now there may be another way or easier way to do it. This is just how I do it. This is just how I eyeball and do it, and it works out for me. So now I'm going to make sure I line that up here because we know this little indenture is where the cut's going to go. So you just want to make sure you line that up perfectly with that. And then I'm going to remove that. And then I'm just going to cut because I don't want to cut my savings challenge. There we go. All right. So now we have this one. That's the top of it. Okay. See how that perfectly matches that. So put it back on here. Line it back up. Okay. Now we're going to do the same thing on this side here. Make sure they're perfectly lined up. Okay. Now we're going to cut this bottom part. Same thing. Line it up here with your indenture. Okay. There we go. I'm going to remove that. Make sure it's lined up. And now I'm cutting. Okay. So there's that one. Now we just got to do the side. See how that's even? So now we're going to line this one up, our final side. Okay. I'm lining it up here where I want it to cut. I'm just going to cut right there. I want to make sure it's right there. Okay. Cut and done. Now we got 2 of our savings challenges. Perfect size. You see that? All right. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to cut. Oh, that's perfect. I'm going to go ahead and cut this one, and then we'll be all set. Okay, next up is we're going to take our 3 ml laminating sheet, and now we're going to cut our envelopes. What you want to do is take your 3 ml sheets, right? And you see these rounded edges on the laminating sheets? We want to cut that off. Since we're making envelopes, we don't need those rounded sheets. Now, if you were just making the trackers, you absolutely want to keep that in place because that secures your savings challenge when you're putting it through the laminating machine. But we want to cut this off when we're creating envelopes. So I'm just going to cut off the edge here. Okay, just like that. And I do a couple sheets at a time. Okay, so get rid of that. And then we're going to do this side here. Okay, again, you don't need to cut off a lot. All right. All right, so now that is gone. Now we can cut out our envelopes. Now, you've probably seen a lot of people say they take the laminating sheets and they open them like this, and then they turn them together so that that shiny side is facing each other. So here's your shiny side. Here's your non-shiny side, okay? Non-shiny side, shiny side, okay? So what I do though is I only use one sheet. You only need one sheet to make one pocket, is my philosophy anyway, and it holds up really well. You don't need to double-side it. You can if you want, but I just use one sheet since I used the 5mm laminated sheets to put it all together. It makes it really sturdy. So what we'll do is we're going to take that shiny side, and we want to make sure the shiny side is on the back of our savings tracker, okay? So we're going to line it up here, and then again, I'm going to cut it out so I can make sure that it is in the shape of the savings challenge. Okay. So again, make sure it's lined up good here. Your savings challenge is going to be your guide. Line up your laminating sheet. Okay, see how that slid over a little bit? Now, it's on the shiny side, so it may slip and slide on you, so hold it steady. Bring that over, and now we're just going to cut it down, okay? So I have a little bit extra here at the top. That's okay because this is going to be the side that I open my envelope from. So if you wanted to, you can go back in and cut it down some, but I'm going to be opening my envelope from the top part anyway, so that's fine. Okay, now let's cut along the bottom here. And make sure it's lined up. Make sure it doesn't slip on you. Okay, I'm going to cut right through. I just moved it. This is the only part about when you're making any kind of envelope is dealing with the laminate and cutting it and getting it to be perfect. This is the most stressful part here. So you'll hear a lot of people, this is why people don't like to do this part, because working with the laminate can be a little tricky, but I promise you, if you just practice and stick to it, don't let it annoy you. This little scrap you can use for something else if you wanted to. If you wanted to create another kind of challenge, a mini challenge or a mini envelope, I'm going to put that over there. And I think I will kind of bring this in just a smidge. Just a smidge. Don't go crazy. And the reason I really don't like doing this, because then if I cut it too short, then I can't use it at all. Let's see if we can get this one. Rather have it too big than too short. Okay, we got that little scrap out the way. All right, so there is the first making of our envelope here. Okay, so we'll put that to the side and let's go ahead and line up the other ones. So now we got the basis for our envelopes. Now we're going to grab our 5mm sheets. We're going to place it inside of there, and that is what's going to form the actual envelope. If you're enjoying this tutorial so far, I hope you are. Make sure you go ahead and hit that like button. And if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss future tutorials like this one. Let me grab that 5mm sheet so we can do the next step. Okay, so now we're going to grab our 5mm sheets to place our savings challenge and our 3mm pocket for our envelope. We're going to place it inside the 5mm sheet to kind of secure it in, make the envelope. This is what makes the envelope. This is what seals it all in. So you need that outer lining of another laminating sheet. Again, I recommend a 5mm. It just makes it more sturdier and it can hold a lot. Some people may use 3mm. If you want to make these for yourselves at home, that's perfectly fine. But a 5mm is just more sturdy and last longer. I cut the 5mm in half. So what we're going to do is open the sheets here. Okay. Then I'm going to place let's get some of this out the way. Try to make sure you have a clean surface too, because it will pick up everything. Okay. So I'm going to put this inside my 5mm. And you just kind of open it up and you can stick it in here. Now, this is all going to laminate, but what you want to do is just make sure you leave enough room around your savings challenge to make the envelope. And this is going to be the opening of our savings challenge envelope. So you want to make sure you have enough room down here if you're going to hole punch it to go into a binder. If you're not going to hole punch this and you just want the envelope, just make sure you have enough room so it can all be the same size around the edges. But if you're going to hole punch it, decide which side you want to open. And then on that other side, leave room for the hole punch, okay? So I'm gonna get these in our sheet, and then we need to grab our laminator, and then we need to run them through the laminating machine. So let me go ahead and finish putting these in our sheets, and then I'm gonna grab the laminator, turn that on so it can warm up, and we can get ready to laminate these bad boys. My laminator is huge, so I'm trying to make it so that you can see it kind of go in and go out. So I'm going to turn on the switch here. And again, remember, I told you have your settings on the front here. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the 5 ml because that is the laminating sheet that's going to run through here. If you were using 3 ml or 4 ml, you would hit those buttons, but I'm going to hit 5 ml. And this button right here is just a cool button. So sometimes I'll use that if I'm like doing a lot of these at once. I'll put it on cool so we can cool down and run them through there. But we're definitely going to use that 5 ml. So let's go ahead and feed our first savings challenge through gently. And so we'll go ahead, it goes through right here, okay? Just make sure it's in the center here. And I'm just gonna do one at a time. I probably could do 2 at a time, but there's no rush, just do 1 at a time. This first one, I'm gonna take you through so you can see real time how long it takes, just be patient. It does get hot, so be careful. It's not so hot that you can't work with it, but if you try to press down on it, which I've done before, it is very hot. All right, so you can see our challenge is coming out this end here. It looks so good. Did you see it come through? Let me slide this down some more so you can kind of see it. All right, here's our first envelope and tracker. Looking good. Look at our fur baby. So I'm going to go ahead and run the other ones through really quickly. All right, so that's our last one. I'm going to turn that off for now. We are going to, once we cut these out, we are going to run them back through the laminator again. But this is what they look like. I like to smooth them down because sometimes they curve, but don't worry. When you run them back through the laminator again, you can straighten all of that out. All right, so this is what they look like once they've been laminated. So now let's go ahead and cut them. So now let's cut. I like to start on the sides first. So again, making sure I don't cut into any air bubbles, and it looks like we're good. Make sure everything's lined up. Okay, I'm gonna cut the sides, and you can leave as much space as you want. I like to bring it in as close as possible. Okay, do this side too. So now we're gonna open up the top of our envelope. Now this side you can cut into the bubble because you want to make an opening. Okay, so we're just gonna line this up as close to our little indenture here where our cut happens. Okay, close that. And then we just want to go through it like that. And then you just want to check it, and there you go. There's your envelope. Nice clean slit, okay? That's what you're looking for. Now, this bottom part is where we're gonna put our holes. Now, remember, you don't have to hole punch this, but if you want to hole punch, you wanna make sure you come in and just leave. You don't need a lot of space down here, but you also don't wanna hole punch into your challenge. So I'm just gonna come over, again, I'm eyeballing this, but I know that's probably about a good 1/2 inch right there. Just look at the shape from where we're gonna cut it to the challenge. So I'm gonna come through, and there we go. Okay, so that's where your hole punch is gonna go. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to do the other ones, and I'm gonna shape them up to make sure they all match. So again, not cutting into any bubbles and leaving as much space as you want on the sides. Okay, so we're gonna do that. Now what I'm gonna do is, again, I'm gonna line these up so I can get around the same size. So I'm gonna bring this over here, and I can see that is right there where I want it to be. So I'm gonna move this out the way and make sure it's lined up. Oops, it moved on me, hold on. Okay, there we go. And then I'm just gonna cut down. Now, I'm gonna cut the top of my envelope to make an opening, not too far in. You don't want to cut too far into the challenge. Just where that little air pocket, where that little bubble is, because you know if you slit that, it's going to make an opening. Okay, so that looks about right there. Okay, let's double check it. There we go. We have our envelope. It's open. Now I'm going to bring this challenge back so I can try to line up where the hole punch is going to go at the bottom. See how it's lined up there? Okay, so we are going to bring that in. That's about the right size there. All right, that looks good. Then we're going to cut it just like that. Okay, now we got the same size. Let's do our last one. So now we have our 3 envelopes here. As you can see, the envelope opens up perfectly. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and hole punch them. I'm going to round the edges, and then I'm going to run it back through the laminator machine. You can run it through the laminator machine as much as you want. I like to do it after I hole punch and round it to make sure it's a complete challenge. And then when I make these in batches, right before I'm about to sell one, if someone orders it, then I run it through that laminator machine again just to make sure it is secure. But we have the foundation of our envelopes. So let me get my hole puncher. I have my hole puncher here. Again, I got this from Hobby Lobby, but you can definitely get these on Amazon. And what I want to do is I want to make sure I am hole punching a personal size for A6 envelope. This personal right here, it says personal desk fax. That's the one I use. And see how these little I don't even know what to call them. These little rulers, see how these little rulers right here are positioned? You want to make sure that nodule right there is lined up where you want it. So see how they move like that? See how they moving out like that? I want to make sure this, move that out the way. I want to make sure that is lined up perfectly where it says personal desk fax. Okay? So now what you're going to do is stick your challenge in there and push it down, and now you have your hose. Okay? Stick your challenge in there, push down, challenge, press down. All right, so now they're all hole punched. Now I'm going to round the corners. And that's what this little machine is. So when I'm rounding the corners of my envelopes, this little contraption has a size small, medium, and large. So what I like to do is at the top, I kind of do like a medium round. And then at the bottoms here, I'll do like a large round. The smaller the size, the smaller the round is. And then the largest, of course, is like very rounded. So I'll do medium. You just stick it in here. Okay. Press down and see now your corner is rounded. That's a medium. Okay, like that. This way you don't stab yourself. This laminate is very sharp, so you want to round the edges. You don't have to, but it's nice, especially if you sell these, to round the edges. So now I'm going to go to the L for large and do the bottoms. Okay, and see how much bigger that corner is. So I just like to do medium up top, large at the bottom. So we'll do the others here. All right, so I got the laminator back out. It is on 5 ml. It is ready to go. And so now I'm just going to re-laminate these envelopes. Now that you got them cut down, you can put in multiple at the same time. So I just want to re-laminate them again. I'm going to hold on to them as they go through, just so they can kind of stay straight. Oh, I hope I didn't set that on top of there. Oh my God, I hope I don't laminate that on top of there. Be careful when you do that, because sometimes it'll get stuck. You can pull it apart though. All right, we can turn that off and move it out of the way. Smooth that out. And now we have our savings challenges here. And let me go grab a binder so you can see what it looks like. All right, so this is what your savings challenges will look like once you put them in a binder. And just to show you that your challenges here can hold a large amount of money. So here's some money here. We'll go ahead and cash stuff it here. Now, you don't want to get in the habit of putting too much money into your envelopes, but see, it can hold a nice, decent size amount, and it's sturdy. That's what it looks like. Okay, so it holds a decent amount. It's very durable. Okay, so that is making a savings challenge envelope. Isn't that cool, you guys? A twofer. I love a twofer, and I love making this. And see, you have enough room for your money in here. It's all about that measurement with the money in the beginning that really helps. And there you have it. There is our savings challenge and envelope all combined in one. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below if you enjoyed this tutorial. Also, let me know if there's other tutorials that you guys want to see, and I'll make sure we do it. This month, I'm doing a No Sinking Funds June, where it's all about the savings challenges. So how appropriate was it to create these 3 savings challenges? And if you've made it this far into the video, and if you'd like to own a copy of these challenges we've made today, go ahead and drop down in the comment section, fur baby, and whoever comments, I'll pick the winner and I'll mail these to you. And if you enjoyed this video today, but you want to learn the beginning on how to make a savings challenge, go ahead and click on this box right here and watch this tutorial on how to create the savings challenge. Then come back and rewatch this video on how to make it into an envelope. Thank you guys so much for all that you do. Thank you for watching, and I will see you back here next week. Bye.